Welcome back to Nature's Glory Cabin Off-Road. Today we are combining two rides of County Park and Clifton, and they're both part ones because I have a part two that I'll combine as well. This has got Chris with us, and we have Chad, Lindsay and their kids, and Ty and Ashley. So we'll see all of those. These were recorded April 27th and May the 18th, I believe that said. So here's where we're going to start out, the Frenchburg IGA for both of these. Go up Highway 460, turn on to Wind Flat Road, and go back to County Park. And then we'll end up going down Clifton Road, and we'll come out on Highway 460 at the end. So here we are pulling out of the IGA parking lot in the big city of Frenchburg onto Highway 36, going back toward Frenchburg. That's Chris right there in his Rubicon. And then you'll see this is Chad, Lindsay and the kids in their Everglades edition Bronco with Ty and Ashley right behind them. Yeah, you'll see a few things that appear to repeat. And we're going to go on up here to the great big flashing light in Frenchburg. We're going to go through this and get on to east of 460. Going to the right would be west on 460. We're going to go east in the direction of West Liberty. We're going to get up here, go about a mile or so, and then we're going to turn left onto Wind Flat Road right here. It's also called County Park Loop. Go to the back of the loop, and we'll be just past the elementary school, and we're going to make a left on County Park Road. And here we are doing that. And we're going to drive on back to the county park. And when we get back here, now the map's going to pop up, and you're going to show where we start at County Park. We're going to go down a gravel road to about the trailhead. Then we're going to go down what everybody else calls Long Branch Road on the maps. Excuse me, Long Branch Trail, I believe, and then it becomes Long Branch Road on the other end. But most people just call this County Park Trail. So we're just going to zip through here so you can kind of see this part. They got baseball fields. They have restrooms here on both sides and shelters. We stop here quite often and have lunch in the middle of our rides. So we're going to zip on back here. All of a sudden it's going to turn into gravel. You're going to go past a cell phone tower down here, and then you just continue on down to pretty obvious where it starts, because right here at the end there's a little wide spot where sometimes people park, and this is the trail going down in front of us. Again, I'm going to just show the highlights. I've done other videos of this that shows more detail, but the highlights are actually the most fun and or most technical parts of the trail. I don't show a whole lot of front video, but this is going down that hill, and you can see it's got a pretty good angle to it. And I've sped everything up about 2 times. So we're going only, gosh, 1, 2, 3 miles an hour most of the time on the obstacles. And in a minute here we'll show this in reverse, from the reverse view of everybody coming down that. And of course I'm in the 2022 JL 2-door Rubicon on 37s and 2-inch AEV lift. And that's Chris behind me. I believe he's on 35s. He's on a JK. It's a Rubicon also. And here's coming down that hill. You can see it's got a pretty good grade to it. Kind of hard to see over your hood to see exactly where you're at, but it's not that hard to do. And here comes Chad, Lindsay, and the kids in their Everglades edition Bronco. I'm unsure what all the equipment is. I know the snorkel on it's Factory. And then behind them is Ty and Ashley in their Wrangler Sport. Both those guys are on 35s. They stayed a little closer to me so you can get a little better idea of the grade there. And we'll just repeat some of this stuff here and there, as you'll see it for both groups. Again, these are about a month apart. Excuse me, more like 3 weeks. Toward the end of April and toward the middle of May 2024. A little bit of a rocky section here before we get to what I call a little ravine. It's a big washout, big V-notch. You need to be careful across. I've done a short of it before, a month or so ago. Again, this is going to be some repetition here, where I go back and forth between the two rides. And right here is a bypass that we usually take to go around a spot on the left. There's also a bypass for the main ravine that when you got people with you, you can spot yourself through, and if you get enough experience, you can try it yourself. If you make a mistake and you slip into that, you are going to tip over. You may experience body damage. We had enough people with us on both these rides that we helped each other out, spotted each other, and got through it pretty easily. On the first ride in April, it was pretty dry. On the second ride in May, it was wetter and thus a little slicker, but we still got down it without much effort. With obvious spotting, as I said. To the left is the bypass around it if you decide not to go traverse the washout. This is where we get out, or we're going to check it out. I never drive straight down it until I check it out. And here he is. He's going to spot me. Chris is going to spot me through this to make sure I keep my tires in the right place and have a successful ride. My wife down at the bottom taking pictures, and again I spliced some pictures together and made a video of it and posted it some time ago, probably right after the ride. And I'm keeping my left tire up high on the left side, and the right side I am straddling the washout. And you'll see the others as I did some videoing with them. And here it is from the rear when I was with the second group. Hard to get a good reading on how deep this is. At first you start off to the right, then you go to the left, and again, just use caution. This is one of those I wouldn't do alone. I know a lot of y'all out there do. I don't recommend it. Besides, where's the fun in that? It's always fun to share with other people. Have plenty of equipment. Make sure you get out of the situation just in case. And you can see Chris there coming on through. I got a little video of him where I'm guiding him down. You don't get really good video of this because he went ahead and took off where I could get back down there. So as you can see, we're riding pretty high on that left side. Keep those tires up there. Those mud tires have that good grip on the sides. We're aired down. I think he said he's running around 20. I think I'm down around 18. And here's the second group. A little better camcorder video. I'll give you a little better shot of how deep this is. We're spotting the whole time here. Ty has the radio, and I'm kind of relaying information of where he should be, and he's telling him while I'm trying to run the camcorder. That's why it's so moving around so much. I'm talking at the same time, trying to keep everything straight. There's a spot right there. You come out of a hole, and you have to climb up and stay on the left side to stay on it. As you can see, there's probably, gosh, at least 3-4 feet from the bottom of that Bronco to the bottom of that washout. And he's down. Let's go to the next one. This is Ashley and Ty. It's actually Ashley's Jeep in their Wrangler Sport JK. Again, there's that little hole you fall down into and you got to climb up out of. At the same time trying to stay up high on the side. And once you kind of get a good line, you just ride it on out. There's no turns or anything in this, so it's I wouldn't say simple is the right way to put it, but it's not as hard as it could be. I'd probably rate this trail about a 5 or 6, depending on how muddy it is and your comfort level and how well you're equipped. Because it takes some thought on a couple of these technical spots, and when we get down here in a little while, we're going to be going down waterfalls that are 3 to 4 feet drop-offs. A lot of them are smaller, but there's 1 or 2 that are more. And we'll see those as we get to them. So we're going down the creek here. Try to stay on the trail. Make sure you have a good map. This is not on the backcountry byway, and there are private property on both sides, and they get a little upset when you get on there, and that's how trails get closed. So please try to stay off of private property. We're going down a little spot here. You see it jerk a little bit. That's a short one. That's about a foot. But there are more. Now we're back to Chad and Lindsay in May. Can't hardly tell much difference between the two. The woods have already started coming full out for spring. So we're moving on down the creek. Again, this will repeat a little bit for each set of riders. That's why this one runs a little longer, because I try to include the same set of, whatever you want to call it, scenery for each set of riders. Another one, another drop off, about the same as the other one. That may not have been a foot. Switch to the split screen every now and then. I believe this is Long Branch Creek down here, or something like that. I know that it on the map it shows up as Long Branch on my Onyx. And there's a little drop off. That one's a little bigger. That might be getting closer to a little bit more than a foot. And here's Chris coming down that with a camcorder. This one's kind of angled a little bit from driver to passenger, and if you can get a little bit more angle to it when you pull down, you'll be able to go a little bit more square. And here is Chad, Lindsay, and the kids coming over the same drop off. And right down it. I think he told me in a couple of spots he drug the skid plates. I believe he said it had full skid plates. Here comes Ashley and Ty. lot of these places you will hit your rear hitch. I even hit it on 37s. I hit it on my 33s before. So you're just going to drag your hitch because you drop pretty straight off of these things. There's a couple of them that are smaller ones that are more like ramps that are basically just riding a ramp. But most of these little waterfall things are drop-offs. And the bigger they get, the more apt you drag your hitch. I think I dragged twice on this trail. And depending on your clearance, you may drag your skid plates or underneath. There's another one, about a foot. This is in Menifee County. This is the north side. This is adjacent to the DBBB. We're going to do some DBBB trails in part 2. Actually, one of the trails at the end of this, Clifton Road, is a backcountry byway trail. See me easing up to this one. And you can see the angle there. And that one's a couple of feet. Still going to drag. I think we still have one more big one if I'm not mistaken. But you see what looked like he dragging the hitch on that when he came down. And that's got a pretty straight nose down attitude there. Chad in the previous, and Ashley in this one. I know those JKs look similar, but I believe the Chris's JK has American flag inserts in his grill, or they both might. I'm not sure there. Again, you always need to be prepared back in here. I always carry a chainsaw, got a winch, got lots of tow points, got lots of recovery gear. You never know what's going to happen. These trees can fall at any time. It can be just a limb or it can be an entire tree. Best thing to do is be prepared. I've got a battery operated chainsaw that works most of the time. This spot right here, this is where you have to turn right to stay on the trail. If you go left, you end up on private property. See, that building up there is private property. So we're getting ready to be done here. We'll see a couple other back rear views. There's a little drop off or two as we drive through the creek here. There was a little drop off. This creek was full of them. Camera flattens these out and doesn't make them look as big as they are. There's that building I was referring to that's private property. A lot of times, most of the time, the gate is chained, so if you went the wrong way, you'd have to turn around because you'd be locked in. And here's the second group coming through the same end of the creek. And when we come out to the end out here, we end up on Long Branch Road. We'll take Long Branch Road out to where it meets Clifton. And we're going to go right to go to the Clifton Trail, but you could take a left and go back to 1274 Beaver Creek Road and make another left and go all the way into Frenchburg that way if you needed to go back. Again, we're going to go up here and we're going to make a right and head to the next trail, which is a backcountry byway trail, Clifton Road. It's pretty scenic, there's lots of water too. out of the creek, now onto Long Branch Road. Get out here to the end. We're going to make a right onto Clifton, like I said just a minute ago. This is Clifton Road out here at the end of Long Branch. And a map's going to pop up here. We're going to show you where we're at, where we turned on to here. And we're going to go down to about the trailhead. It's a little bit further down. We drive blacktop for a little while. And then we go all the way down Clifton, end up on Kendrick Ridge Road, and take 460, take Kendrick Ridge Road out to 460 and wherever we go from there. That'll be part 2. That'll be next. We'll be going to Brushy Fork and Forest Service 1085, which technically is still Brushy Fork. And that's part of the backcountry byway as well. So here we are. Now we're on Clifton Road. This pretty much one of the first things you do when you get on it is there's this water crossing where you go up a few little waterfalls. Depending on the weather, the water can be barely moving, or you can have a lot of water. I've seen it both ways. And we did some of it back in the winter where you saw some ice as well. We've done this several times. One of our favorite trails. Got the camcorder out here, and looks like we've got Chris coming up behind us here. And then I have the camcorder on, I believe it's Chad, and for some reason it got shut off, but I stole some pictures from my wife and put a sequence together so you can still see him coming up through there. Okay, and in a short moment, this is going to turn into pictures because somehow I guess hit the wrong button. And here they are. These are pictures my wife took with her camera rig. She's going to tell you how she does all that at some point over on the Facebook page, and probably a video for the YouTube as well. Alright, so we got through that. Now we are going on down Clifton. It's a pretty scenic ride. This is probably a 3 level, 2-3, depending on how you're equipped. I mean, me on 37s is probably a 2. But if you have a more stock vehicle, which you could do on Clifton, it'll be more challenging for you. It'd probably be like a 4 for a stock vehicle. Little tire, little lift can go a long ways. I have taken stock people through here. Got enough experience, and somebody can spot you well enough. There's only a couple of spots that need help, and you should be able to do it. Don't go alone. I saw a tire pop off of a vehicle. Previous video I did not long ago during the General Bowen ride. Somebody has tires that aired down. He made a sharp turn trying to get out of a rut, popped the tire right off the rim. Got to be prepared for stuff like that. You never know what can happen. This is one of the spots right here coming up this hill. There's a rock right in the middle that if you're low clearance or short tires, your differential will likely hit. So you'll need to be careful and watch that. Got a couple of rocky hills. That was one of them. Again, I'm on 37s. Everybody else is on 35s. And here we're going to see that rock, that white rock right in the middle there. That's the one that's the problem. When you get past those trees, you'll need to, with low clearance, you want to stay high to the left, the driver's side, to get out of there. Now this dog leg here has a culvert in it. Hopefully it's been fixed by now, but you need to stay as far left as you can, because I've known a couple of people that have cut a tire on that culvert. Be sure you have a good spare. You never know when you'll need it. I also carry glue treads that'll get you out of there. Technically not approved for on the road, but you can use them. And here's another rocky hill we're going up. You never know when you can have a failure. One of my first videos on Clifton, a guy in a Toyota Tacoma pickup broke an axle, and we had to winch him up for a ways until we got to a spot that he could do it in 2-wheel drive. And there's a few little rock shelves here, and we're heading up to what people call the waterfall. When it's wet enough, there's some water coming off of it. I just call it the big rock overhang. You'll see why when we get there. It's always a picture opportunity when we get there. Here's Chad, Lindsay, and the kids coming up that rocky hill. Pick yourself a good line, put your tires on the biggest rocks so you don't drag on anything, and then just take your time, use 4 low, and just creep along. Pay attention to where you're at, don't get too far to the edge where you'll get nervous of being on the edge, because pretty good drop-offs on these things up here in some places. But the trail's wide enough, it shouldn't be a problem. And this is Ashley and Ty. Some folks like video more than others, and we'll stop and spend more time with video, time depending, of course. If we were running late, we'd probably zip through it a little faster. We had plenty of time. Here we are finishing that out, heading toward the waterfall / overhang that I call it. About everybody stops here for a photo op or a break. Lots of room here. Hopefully nobody comes in the other direction while you're here, but there we are with us and the JLR and Chris and his JK, and then this is the group with the Bronco and the other JK. Alright, we've had our stop and our break, we took pictures, and we're on our way. Watch the Facebook page, because my wife gets those pictures up a lot of times the same day. Takes me a lot longer. Of evidence is I'm doing this now in August, and this is April and May video. Okay, pulled up out of there. Now we got another little spot here where we're going to go down. There's a little muddy spot here. Stays muddy. I assume there's probably some kind of spring up in the hills. When we get down to the bottom of the hill here, there's a culvert, and it's been washing out more and more on each side. And so you need to be careful going across this so that you don't slip off. If you need spotting, have somebody spot you. Depending on how big your vehicle. We're on fairly small vehicles. The longer you are and the wider you are, the more trouble that'll cause you. And here's that from the rear. You might be able to see the culvert. I should be going over the culvert there. Right there it is. You can see him, how he's dipping a little bit. And we'll see the same thing here with the Bronco and the other JK. And there you can see they're going over the same spot, a little further behind me, so it's hard to tell. See them dropping off on the right side a little bit. And once we get past that, we're heading towards some, depending on the weather, can be some pretty challenging mud ruts. They've been relatively, I wouldn't say dry, but not as muddy as they can be. I've been through this when it's been really sloppy. And we're going uphill. I've done this on 33s and 37s, and these folks are all on 35s behind me. You can see a little bit of it, but the camera doesn't do this justice. Looks a little wetter there in May from the previous one in April. Again, these can be worse. I've done this in both directions. Going up this hill when it's really sloppy is challenging, especially if you have smaller tires or a low lift or no lift. A few more rocks on the way out, going up the hill. Nothing impossible, just pick your way through it and put your tire on the biggest rock. Usually works the best. That way you don't hit a axle tube or a differential and you just go right over it. It's your highest point on your body. These can be really muddy through here too. It looks fairly dry on this day. Let's see what it looks like in May. That was April, and we're going to do this in May. Everything was a little wetter in May. You can get your tire high up on the side on the mud walls and try to climb that way as well. And we're down here at the end. We're back on gravel. We're going to pull out on Kendrick Ridge Road here in just a minute. Get everybody stopped and in place. When you pull out on the road up here, try to take it easy. Your tires are full of mud and you're going to throw mud everywhere. Kind of be as respectful as you can as you drive by this person's house so they don't get too upset with us. I have heard that they do on occasion. We're going to go on out here now. We're going to get to 460 and then we're going to go right or left. We're going to go left. The next set of trails is left, and that'll be in part 2. Hope everybody's enjoyed this. We actually split this and went back to County Park and had lunch with Chris, and we turned around and went on to Forest Service 1085 and Brushy Fork the other way. And you'll see this is the direction we went. We didn't stop after this. Hope everyone liked this. Thanks for watching.